Welcome to episode 17 of the Grit Code Podcast. And this is a Christmas edition of the Grit Code Podcast, a place where we decode the steps to success on and off the field. I'm 11-year NFL vet, three-time Pro Bowler Dante Whitner, alongside number 378 NFL Hall of Famer and 49ers legend Patrick Willis. And with us each and every week, Bay Area TV and radio analyst Mr. Rod Brooks. And like I said in the opening, we don't have a topic for this week. It's just Christmas spirit. And we're in the spirit of giving. And boy, did our boy Brock Purdy get in the spirit last night. Dishing out touchdown passes, 5 of them. What impressed us most about specifically Brock Purdy, but then the offense in totality? We'll get to the defense later.
Well, I mean, for me, knowing that, especially in the first half, the offense had to go out there and score points, keep the defense off the field, keep Phillip Rivers off the field. The offense had to be the tip of the spear, and they weren't worried about it. They weren't scared. They were able to go out there and do what they needed to do. So to me, it was just another example of how the Niners have been living all year and how they're going to have to continue to live for however long they're in the playoffs. This is an offensive team now, and it's a defense that has its issues. It's bend but don't break, but they do come up with timely sacks. They do come up with timely stops. They do come up with timely picks. So this is just who they are. And while it might not be perfect, it's a really, really good football team led by that offense.
Yeah, Rod, I concur with you. Absolutely. It's nothing that we haven't talked about all year long from the beginning of the season to now. They're only doing what we had talked about. Purdy came out, had a phenomenal individual performance, but then as a team, I mean, man, they're throwing the ball, they're running the ball, they're doing exactly what they need to do. And they keep this up, man, they can be very dangerous. It's still a lot of football left. And so I just hope they can stay healthy, which, we'll get into a little bit later. But
What
overall,
specifically impressed me was just Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
When I'm watching him, like right now, being removed from the team and being from afar and watching it as a fan at home, I'm like, wow, this motherfucker is really good.
Yeah.
And it's not that he can just throw the football. It's not that he can just escape the pocket. When it comes to analyzing Brock Purdy, it's the anticipatory plays,
Yep.
but then it's the confidence behind it. The ability to get the quick throw out, but also not throw the ball to the defense when they get his number and Kyle Shanahan's number. And he's done that multiple times this year. You know that touchdown pass to Demarcus Robinson? I swear to God, that's the prettiest fucking pass I ever seen. The trajectory, the spin on it, the velocity, the ability to move the safety and then have the confidence that Demarcus Robinson is going to run a perfect bowl route right behind the hook player, but inside the corner and deliver that ball with precision, accuracy. That fucker proved to me that he's a top 5 quarterback in the National Football League.
D, you know what he's doing? And Patrick, you understand this because you know basketball. He out there playing point guard, man. He's running the offense. He's finding guys who's open. He's taking what's there. If he's got to call his number, he calls his own number. He's getting out of the huddle quick. He's getting up to the line. He's seeing what's out there. He's making whatever changes he's allowed to make or needs to make. Bam, get the ball. Let's get it here. Let's keep it moving. There's no wasted movement. There's no downtime. He's just got that thing humming, man, like a true old school point guard used to do, where everybody was getting involved.
And you have to give a lot of credit to Kyle Shanahan for the preparation. They last night, this is what it looks like when the offensive coordinator is dialed in on what coverages you're going to get. When the players execute to attack the weakness in the coverage, when the fucking offensive line have a brilliant night across the board, when your quarterback is loose and having fun, that's what it looks like. And for example, I'm going to tell you what it means. I'm going to pull out a few specific plays. That Christian McCaffrey touchdown in the end zone, that was a 0 blitz. They were 6-man blitzing, 5 across. The linebacker played off the ball because he had Christian McCaffrey. That's execution at its finest. Those 5 offensive linemen and George Kittle, they one-on-one across the board. They had perfect blocking. Christian McCaffrey finding a gap and then putting his little move on, that was perfect. Understanding the coverage pre-snap because of the motion and the shift, that's Kyle Shanahan preparing his offense at a Super Bowl championship caliber. And then there was another one. Even to George Kittle, people are like, oh man, that was a great risky throw from Brock. But guess what? They practice that. That's scramble drill. When a defensive back is on your back and you're deep, you come back and cut him off. The quarterback and George Kittle, Brock Purdy, they had mental telepathy on that play. That's championship football. And then the Demarcus Robinson, a bowl route is a wide receiver aligning on the numbers, knowing that the defensive back is outside shoulder. So he has to actually stem to him with velocity and cut inside. That's a bow route. So for all of them to execute in the moment, that's championship football.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It was amazing just to see it live. What I was most amazed with was, like you say, it was his patience. Like it was his patience to make the right throws. And I even when you go back and you look at that game, I feel like he still left some plays out there. But then again, man, he was just Brock is phenomenal, and now you're starting to see why they paid him what they paid him.
So is this his best game as a pro?
I mean, I'm maybe I'm falling victim to recency bias, but yeah.
I would agree with you, Rod. I think the stakes were high. Monday Night Football. Pat, a lot of motherfuckers their asshole get real tight on Monday Night Football, don't it? It's like, shit, I don't want to get embarrassed in front of my peers and family and millions of people watching. So they typically don't play that loose. And for the offense to come out and be loose, score early, score often, they showed me a lot. And Brock was the catalyst for that. So I would say that this is his best game as a pro last night.
Yeah, when I was telling someone, when I look at that offense, the first thing I do when I look at the offense, I look to see where's the strength, who's the strength. And when I look at that offense, obviously we know they have Kittle, but man, when you look across the board, each one of those guys can make plays. And to have a quarterback like Brock, as Rod said, he's like the old school point guard. He's just getting the ball out, not making any mistakes. I know that the interception that he did have, it was a high throw, but man, for him to do what he's been doing the whole game, you're gonna have some plays here and there. But overall, I was amazed with his performance.
And hey, let's shout out the offensive line too. That was a question mark going into
Incredible.
the season, and there was a point in the early portion of the season that it was not good. Trent was still trying to work himself back into being Trent Williams. Dominic Purdy, now we know, was injured. That's why his play had dropped. You didn't have any continuity at left guard and center. Once they got the middle of that offensive line figured out, Trent being Trent, and McKivitz out there on the right side. I mean, once you get past that game against the Texans, well, Will Anderson ate him up. And again, Will Anderson eats up pretty much anybody that he lines up against. But once you get past that Texans game, McKivitz has had a really, really good second half of the season. So I just wanted to shout out the offensive line because, yeah, what Purdy did, what that offense did was outstanding. And, yeah, we know the Colts are, injured, but that's a good Colts front they have. Brock Purdy was only hit officially one time last night.
So let me ask you, is this Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers formula for winning a Super Bowl? We've seen them in past years rely heavily on the run, being dominant in the run, sometimes being stagnant in the red zone. Is this their formula? Shootouts, elite quarterback play with efficiency, opportunistic defense. You're not going to be a dominant defense, but when the ball is in the air, you take it away. You take opportunities to punch the football out, and you're explosive and opportunistic on special teams. Could this be his formula to unlocking that Super Bowl victory?
I mean, Pat, we had what going into Week 18 against the Bears next week. You is who you is at this point.
You is who you is, and I like it because a lot of people are like, "Oh man, they can't run the ball with the same efficiency. Their average per rush is the bottom of the league." But look at what they do throwing the football. Look at the previous Super Bowl champions. Look at Patrick Mahomes when they beat the 49ers and he made that unbelievable throw in the fourth quarter. What they do? He aired it the fuck out. So I think that this is the first time in Kyle Shanahan's career where he's comfortable with his quarterback. He fully trusts him. And that's what that smirk was about post game. In his mind, he's saying to every defensive coordinator and team around the league, you motherfuckers let me fuck around and get a quarterback
Yeah.
that can actually sling this thing, but also improvise. But he can get me out of the bad calls when a defense does get my number. So I think that that's his competitive advantage. What do we call that in investing, Pat? An economic moat. And Brock Purdy's moat and the 49ers moat is Brock continuing to escape the pocket and put that ball in precision into the hands in the breadbasket of his offensive players. That's their Super Bowl moat right there. Brock Purdy and his legs.
Yeah, he's a gunslinger, man. He's a gunslinger. It's like he throw an interception and he just comes right back to it and keeps on throwing. It reminds me of the old Brett Favre or whatnot. So I think he's on his way, man, to be a.
So that's your comparison for him, Pat? Brett Favre? Because that was
Yeah,
the next
it's
question. Who
yeah,
in
yeah.
modern day or even previous day football would you compare Brock Purdy to?
I, I thought I would say Doug Flutie. I mean, I know there's many more out there, but what comes to mind is someone of that stature where he knows how to win. He knows how to win. He came in winning. He's played in big ball games, and he's just continuing to get it done. And you gotta respect that.
So, Rod, who would you compare him to?
Man, y'all can probably see the smoke coming out of my ears. I think he's a more under control Brett Favre. That's a good call. He's a better athlete than Brett Favre, so I think, Pat, that's kind of where you go with Doug Flutie, because Doug Flutie, like, people make fun of him because he was tiny. Doug Flutie was a good athlete. Doug
Yeah,
Flutie could move, and he could get away from guys too. That's not the way, obviously, you want to live. I think Brock Purdy is just a more under control Brett Favre. Now, he hasn't had Favre's career. So there's a long way to go for that. But just in terms of stylistically playing the game, yeah, I'll go with Favre under control.
yeah.
You know who I'm going to go with? Aaron Rodgers.
Oh,
Specifically, 2011 through 2013 Aaron Rodgers. In his prime, Aaron Rodgers. MVP, Super Bowl champion in 2011, Aaron Rodgers. And you know what made him great? He spread the ball around to all of his weapons, but also he anticipated throws. He had a great offensive coordinator who utilized his ability to get outside the pocket, have throws.
yeah.
He didn't turn the football over. He utilized his legs. But again, that word, we're going to use it, that moat, it was the ability to get outside the pocket and that precision passing. You remember who his weapons were that year? Jordy Nelson,
Red Jennings.
Jennings, the tight end number 88.
Yeah. Fit? No, not Finley.
That's my comparison for Brock Purdy. 2011 MVP, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, Aaron Rodgers. Somebody proved me different. I went back and watched all the highlights from 2011.
Yeah, but
Looks like Brock Purdy.
they did have a little bit better. I mean, yes, I see what you're saying, but they did have a little bit more on defense than the Niners have on their defensive side of the ball. I'm only
Yeah, but
saying,
I'm just talking about the offense.
yeah,
Brock Purdy comparison. Aaron Rodgers. When you go and look at it right now, when you pull up the video 2011 Aaron Rodgers, and you see him getting outside the pocket, you see him, guess what? They had the same celebration too. What did he have? He had the right? When he was doing that at the belt. Brock Purdy is doing what? The Dougie? There's so many similarities. Look, I even went back to see what type of plays they were running. You know, a lot of that play action, throw the ball inside, right about the numbers.
Yep.
The dig route.
Dig.
The call plays, the wheel routes.
Yeah.
They were running the same type of offense. It's going to be freaky when you look it up.
If I'm not mistaken, all of his touchdowns, or 4 of them, came on in breaking routes.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, that's what Aaron Rodgers was doing. Anticipation of the throws, getting the ball out quickly, extending plays. When Mike McCarthy would get into a bad situation or the defense would disguise it well, I promise you, he would escape the pocket, extend the play. Pat, you remember because we had the play.
And make a perfect throw. Make a perfect
throw. What is Brock Purdy doing right now? Brock
What's that?
Purdy's escaping the pocket. He's not
Mhm.
turning the football over. The defense calls it right sometimes. He's like, oh shit, I can't throw it there. They got us this time. He's moving around. He's not panicking. He's loose. Precision passing on the run. That's what Brock Purdy is providing.
And
Yeah.
and you guys have said it earlier, man. We do have to give a shout out to that offensive lineman because I looked at that defensive lineman. I looked across. I said, man, those some big boys. But then
Mhm.
when the game was over with, I said, man, those boys held their own.
So we're doing a lot of glazing. A lot of glazing, right? I'm gonna keep this going for one more time. Let's keep
Rightfully
the glaze
so.
going. Let's keep the glaze going. Hey,
It's Christmas
so
time.
49ers are known for, great quarterbacks. Steve Young, Joe Montana. Brock continues to play like this, have postseason success. Is he on the same trajectory as Steve Young and Joe Montana?
No, no. Steve and Joe are Steve and Joe. If he wins the Super Bowl, that'll make him equal with Steve Young in terms of numbers of Super Bowls. But those two guys are Hall of Famers. One of them's the greatest to ever do it.
But after this long drought,
Oof.
being mystery relevant, all the heartaches that they had the NFC Championship, the Super Bowl losses, being up in the fourth quarter. If Brock Purdy can deliver the sixth Lombardi, do you mention him with the great Steve Young and Joe Montana, Pat?
Yeah, as far as stylistic,
Say it.
as far as stylistically, you would almost have to. I mean, you have guys like Mr. John Brody and those fellas or whatnot that it's hard to just overleap them guys. And then when it comes to Steve Young and Joe, they say it often, and I kind of attest to it a little bit when they have them championships. Like one thing that when it comes to me, I think about sometimes like, man, how great it would have been to win that Super Bowl 47, Dante, that we was in, and when they say your name, Hall of Famer and Super Bowl champion, it's just something about those Super Bowl champions and those guys. They have a multitude of them or whatnot. So, like Rod said, maybe if he gets one, most definitely, I think you start having them in those conversations. But man, I like the guy. I do, and I don't like comparing guys. But man, he's playing some great football, man.
Well, we know how the faithful feel about their quarterbacks. We know how they're revered. So I have to go with you, Pat. I think Brock Purdy wins the sixth Lombardi for the 49ers. You definitely have to start mentioning him with the likes of Steve Young and Joe Montana. And even last night with that performance, you have to study your past and the history to know the present and where you're going in the future. The last time a quarterback in a 49ers uniform threw 5 touchdowns, who do you think it was? Joe Montana.
Yeah.
The time before that, it was Steve Young in Super Bowl 29. You don't just wake up and throw 5 touchdowns. So if Brock Purdy delivers this Lombardi after this long drought, Brock Purdy has to be revered up there with the 49er great quarterbacks. 100% in my opinion.
Well, because the standard has been set by Joe and then Steve with his one, after several attempts. The standard for 49er quarterback judgment is, did you win a Super Bowl? And if you didn't, there's going to be people that say nice things about you, but they're not going to put you up there with Joe and Steve. So, yeah, the bar is getting that trophy and hoisting it over your head. And until that happens, Brock Purdy, obviously great story, great what he's doing right now. But until that happens, he's going to be behind Joe and Steve. Not for a lack of trying, though.
Let's get
Man,
another offensive question before we get over to the defense. Speaking about coaching and trajectories, where does Kyle Shanahan's coaching trajectory look like? Like, we know that he's probably going to win Coach of the Year this year, right? We know that he's been to multiple NFC championships. He's gotten over the hump, but he never could secure a Lombardi. If he can get it done this year, whose trajectory does his coaching career almost align with? I have a particular person that I'm thinking about too.
To me, it's Andy Reid.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And once you get one, do you run the risk of almost running a little dynasty once you get over the hump?
Ooh, now wait.
That's what happened with Kansas City. When he left from Kansas City and when he left from Philadelphia and went over to Kansas City and finally got over the hump, what happened?
Yeah. No, they ripped some off. Yeah, for sure.
So could that be a possibility? How old is Brock Purdy? 25, 26?
He's young in the game, for sure.
Yeah.
When you win, it unlocks something internally in everybody in their locker room. I hope you know that, right? Now it's not about believing we can win. We're going to win. So, do you think that his trajectory, coaching and player, both aligns to where if they get over the hump, they could start something?
I just got to see him get over the hump first. Like I'm intrigued by all of this
They say
conversation.
faith is believing before seeing.
You're
And
right,
they are
but
the faithful. They are the faithful. We are the faithful.
So
they are
faith
the
is
faithful.
believing before seeing. I know
But
what I saw last night,
okay, yeah.
and that wasn't a shitty defense.
But I know what I saw last night too, and we're gonna get into it with the Niner defense, and that's where I need to
That's a
sit back
perfect
and
lead in.
listen to y'all, because okay, they stopped the run, they stopped Taylor, although it was about Phillip Rivers in the first quarter specifically. That was the point of attack for the Colts. They didn't really test the Niner run defense, and then when they tried to, give the Niners defense credit, they did their job. They only held them to 2.9 yards per carry. But man, that's
Too
secondary.
many defensive backs. I'm gonna call it out.
Ugh.
I'm calling the secondary out this week. Too many defensive backs playing below their standard, and they only have surface level thinking on the field. And I'm gonna give you two prime examples. Jair Brown, you are the culprit on 2 touchdowns. On the one where they jumped off sides,
Mm-hmm.
they always teach us, Pat, to do what on defense?
Stay deep because
Keep playing, right?
keep playing. Yeah.
Because it's a free play, right?
Yeah.
So Jair Brown, he decides to be the half safety. Your corner gave you a reroute. You're supposed to be inside track shoulder of the wide receiver with a good pedal until you get to the goal line. You stay inside shoulder. You force him to throw to 7. You never let him cross your face to run a post. That's fundamentally book 101 for a safety. You know what he did? He stood there, he stopped, he sat on the route, and something in his reptilian mind told him, I've been getting interceptions and making plays on the ball, so I'm going to take a chance and turn my shoulders. And he broke inside and broke your ass off. That's
Yeah.
touchdown number 1. So then we're going to go to surface thinking number 2. We're known for playing quarter in the red zone. The number 1 beater for quarters coverage is a double post. So as a safety, you have to have wide field vision. So if the backside has a condensed formation pre-snap, you know that there's a good opportunity that they're going to run a drive route, which means number 1 runs a shallow, and then the tight end runs a dig. So pre-snap, you talk to Malik Mustafa and you say, Malik, if they run that and only 1 goes vertical, I'm going to pass number 2 to you, to my side. And you sit on the goal line and you help Luter out by sitting there inside the post and you pick the ball out and you run it back for 100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
That's football 101, day 1 of my rookie year install. Double post in the red zone versus quarter coverage. You know what he did? You don't communicate pre-snap. You don't see the condensed formation. You don't communicate, so you jump down on the route and you leave your corner out to hang. So 2 of those touchdowns came on 1 individual. So they're going to have to find a guy that can be fundamentally sound back there with Matthew Stafford and Jalen Hurts and Caleb Williams coming up. Because if they don't, they're going to continue to get attacked in the deep secondary. So that's the problem yesterday. It was really on 1 guy and the pass rush.
Once they got a pass rush, though, once they got that sack from C.J. West, and I think that was the Colts' 3rd drive in the first half. Once they got that sack, And they went 3 and out. That was the Colts' first 3 and out. And then they were field goals after that in the first half. I feel like once they got that sack, they were finally – they didn't need a ton of pressure on Phillip Rivers. They just needed some pressure. But before that C.J. West sack, zero pressure.
My opinion, that secondary was anemic. And that defensive line was even more anemic. When I'm watching it with those 4-man rush, they weren't even sniffing the quarterback.
Yeah.
You don't even know how he smelled. you really don't. That could be a problem down the line because a lot of the issues in the secondary will come from not having consistent pressure up front.
Yeah.
It's the old adage.
Yeah. Like I said, once they got just a little bit of pressure on Rivers, that they only scored 10 points in the second half because they were finally starting to Salah brought that blitz. What was it? 8 minutes left to go in the third. That was the first and probably only blitz that he threw at him. And then they were still able to just get a little bit more pressure just to make Rivers move. Like, obviously, they're going to see better brands of quarterbacks going forward. Shout out to Phillip Rivers for what he pulled off for a game or a game and a half. But that lack of pressure combined with what we saw in the secondary was that, like I said, as great as the offense is for the Niners and as intriguing as it is to think that they can really make a run, they're on a run right now. That's why I defer to y'all. That defense, it's not championship worthy.
I want to pull out some of Pat's expertise.
Yeah.
Linebacker play. Last night, that interception put a flashback in my mind of Navarro Bowman versus the Atlanta Falcons running the ball back on Monday Night Football. Remember that last game in Candlestick?
Pick up the stick, baby.
Pat, D. Winters had an interception return last night, but it was what he did, not being a robot like we like to call it. Like, yeah, you're supposed to have a guy to the flat, but you did read the quarterback and jump in and catch the football and run it back for a touchdown. He was the outside buzz player, right? Supposed to be to the numbers. A guy was taking him to the flat. What did he do to get his hands on the football in that situation, Pat?
I just felt like he was very instinctive on that play. All game long, they've been finding that little window in that defense that they was running. I'm not sure exactly what
they were
running.
playing cover 3. They were playing cover 3. Yeah, he was the buzz player.
Okay, I wasn't sure if he was in that cover 2 because the way it looked when
it was a stick route, Pat.
Yeah, and the way he came off of it, a lot of times guys would just waste space. They'd just sit in the green and just let stuff happen. But it was almost like as soon as the play happened, he didn't waste any time just sitting in one spot. He went straight to the play, went straight to the tight end, and it was almost like I don't want to say he matched it, but it looks like he played match defense to me to where if my guy go out fast, I've seen this play all game long. I know exactly where they're going with it, and he came back in, intercepted, and once I saw him get the ball in his hand, I knew there wasn't no catching him.
Well, Pat, it wasn't that he sorry, I lost my train of thought. It wasn't that, in cover 3, right? When he's rolling down and he has a man taking him to the flat, how often does the quarterback just read him? He's not even responsible for the guy that was getting the ball thrown to him. The inside hook linebacker is responsible for that guy. So this is install day 101 as well. So a safety can be in the same position. A safety coming down, it's a tight end there, and it's a back offset, the back flare to the flat. The tight end comes up and run a 5-yard out. Naturally, I'm supposed to be on the guy to the flat, but if I can read the quarterback through my peripheral as I'm coming down, I can bait him and put my foot in the ground and break underneath the tight end that's breaking out. So that's what he did. He anticipated it. And they like to call it in the locker room not being a robot. Yeah, you're supposed to have the guy to the flat, but if you know that they like stick routes on 2nd and 8, it's okay to take a chance. And a lot of times, if you execute it properly, it'll turn out like it did last night. So he did a great job.
He said after the game that he heard Rivers call that early in the game, filed that away in his mental football Rolodex, and then pulled that card out at the absolute right time.
No, I mean that like I said, that was the same formation they kept running the whole game, and they threw the ball to the tight end, but they never completed. I don't think they ever completed. Maybe
what they say, Pat, fool me once.
What did I go? Fool me once. Well, how's it go, Dante?
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool
Hey,
me 3 times, ain't no fool me 3 times.
I was about to say, fool me 3 times. You're on the bench and probably getting cut.
Absolutely.
hey,
I
he
want to
made
move
himself
on to
look
next
last
week,
night.
though. I want to move on to next week, guys. I want to move on to a big Sunday night showdown between the Chicago Bears and the San Francisco 49ers. Both teams 11-4. Does anything concern you about the Chicago Bears? And
Yes,
what must the
yes.
49ers do to be victorious?
That offensive line is the best in football. They get on you, they mash you, and everything flows from there. Their run game, Caleb Williams has only thrown 6 interceptions. I think he's only been sacked 23 times. He was sacked much more than that over the entirety of last season. Again, what the Niners did in terms of stopping the run last night, hey, man, I'll take it because Jonathan Taylor is a good back. Forget about how they did or did not use him, the Colts. What I saw from the Bears, just really grinding, watching that game against the Packers, reinforce what I just said. Their offensive line is really, really good. Their run game that flows behind it. I think, though, the two teams are similar. That both the Niners and the Bears rely on their offense to be the tip of the spear to keep their defenses from getting exposed. The Bears defense
Or that
is
Bears
in the
defense take that ball away a hell of a lot
but
more than the
that's what I was going to
49ers.
say.
I tell you
They
that.
they they're in the 20s in terms of rankings, but they are the best in the league at taking the ball away. So they are opportunistic. I'm excited. Quarterback play, I think, is outstanding for both teams. Caleb Williams is playing at a high level because of what he has in front of him, and also just his maturity as a quarterback. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. But how does the Niners front? How do they deal with that really good Bears offensive line? To me, that's the pressure point.
Well, for me, it's Ben Johnson and his creativity versus a young defense.
Yeah.
He's going to give them so many fucking looks that their hair could be spinning. So first and foremost, they have to be locked in and make sure that they're reading their keys. They could be overzealous and want to get their job done so much to where you give up something. I think the run game should be a focal point. Swift looks fucking phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Watching him last week, just the suddenness, his ability to accelerate, run through tackles. He's a smaller guy, but he's compact, but he runs hard. They involve him in the screen game. And then the number one thing is Caleb Williams and his mobility.
Yep.
They've always heard of 49ers defense, but even watching him run, he's like Kaepernick, Pat, to where it doesn't look like he's running fast. He's a long strider,
But
but
he's
that
fast.
motherfucker digging.
Yeah.
He digging for sure. So that always concerns me. So those are the 3 things that they're going to have to worry about on the defense. On the offensive side of the ball, I think that you gotta shoot it out.
Yeah.
We gotta shoot it out, baby.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Bang,
Great
bang,
week.
motherfucker. Let's shoot
Great
it out.
weeks.
Let's move around. Let's put points on the board. Let's go for it on 4th down. This is a new identity,
Yeah.
right? So they gotta shoot it out. You already showed America. You showed the world. You showed the football world. It's time to go into Sunday Night Football with 2 consistent games in prime time and shoot it the fuck out.
Yeah. And Pat, not to interrupt you, but Dante, hearing you say, but Ben Johnson is going to show the Niners defense some stuff they haven't seen before. I think Kyle Shanahan is going to show the Bears
Oh, both
defense
for
something they
sure.
haven't seen before. I think the Niners, the Bears run game was swift. We saw Christian McCaffrey last night. That's the best he's looked running the ball all season
I was
long.
thinking the same, yeah.
So I think the same thing goes for the Bears. And Caleb Williams is running around throwing that thing. We just talked about Brock Purdy running around throwing that thing. These two teams are really, really similar. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to come down to a field goal. Book that.
Hey, I like that. I think it's going to come down to the team that has the least amount of turnovers.
Sure.
I feel like Brock, man, it would be nice to see him come back and have a game like he had last night. I'm faithful in him, but then I think, man, it's going to come back down to again the pass rush. It's what Dante is saying. In order to, I think solid's defense, when he's had good any defense, when you got good pass rush, it can eliminate some of those little weak areas in your defense or keep some things from getting exposed. And so I think if they can, man, generate some of that in some form or fashion, whether it's just straight, hey, let's just man up and we don't have to do all the games. Let's just straight rush them. But they have to figure it out because, like Dante said, the mobility that Caleb has, it could present some danger to them. So they're going to have to play a complete game for sure.
Absolutely. It's definitely an asset for their offense. But staying with the 49ers offense, they're missing a key piece, Brandon Aiyuk. And we could throw out hypotheticals and we could say, what if, right? What if this? What if that? Over, I think the past week, a video came out of Brandon Aiyuk speeding, doing over 100 past Levi's Stadium. What do you guys think about this video? And what would be your individual advice to Brandon Aiyuk in this moment?
Um, I think the video is childish. It's it, it's like driving by your ex-girlfriend's house, turning up the radio, trying to get her to notice you. All right, it's silly. Um, but being serious for a second, when you drive fast on city streets, you are not just putting yourself in danger; you're putting other people in danger. People could have been walking by. Somebody could have been walking in the middle of the street. All right. He's driving like a bat out of hell, trying to get likes and trying to get the Niners' attention, like a spurned lover, and it's dangerous and it's stupid. And I don't know the man, other than just watching him play football. So I'm hesitant to call him pejorative names like stupid or dumb or unintelligent, but he's been moving very unintelligently. He's been doing things that are very stupid and dangerous. And I hate to see that because not only is it bad for him, it could be bad for other people. And even if that is not his intention, all it takes is one moment of indiscretion for an accident to happen and people that you didn't mean to get hurt because you were trying to
Literally
prove
crash
something.
out.
Yeah, to get the
Crash
Niners'
out,
attention. It's
crash out.
stupid. Yeah,
Isn't that the
the
slang that the
actions are
young boys
stupid.
use? Crash out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're literally trying to crash out. Pat, what would be your advice for Brandon Aiyuk? And what do you think about the video?
Yeah, man. When I saw the video, I was kind of in disbelief a little bit that that I'm even seeing it. I like Brandon Ayuk. As Rob was saying, like I'm not here to call him any names or any of those things, but man, it just wasn't very smart. And what I would say is, man, knowing what I know now, hindsight looking back, man, one day, one day we all know for sure the game's gonna end, and one day those lights are gonna stop, and man, all these things right here are gonna come back to you, and man, for whatever it's worth, don't burn your bridges. Like don't burn the bridge that's helping you actually be able to afford that car that you're driving, that fast. That's burning the bridge is allowing you to be able to set your family up for generational wealth because it's like you do that. I feel like it's like cutting the umbilical cord. And so I would just say to him, man, just take some deep breaths, find a way to really neutralize that ego. Like understand, like, all right, you are Brandon Ayuk. Like there's a you that's on the field, but then there's also going to be a you that's going to leave the field, and you want them to somehow have some kind of synchronicity when it's all said and done, so that it won't be for nothing. So, man, just take a deep breath, like, and just ask yourself why, like, why, and is it necessary?
Here's the thing that trips me out. Who you mad at, bruh? Who in the organization did you wrong? You balled out. You got paid. Unfortunately, you got hurt. It looked like you were rehabbing to the point. Remember all those routes he was running in the preseason, and everybody was like, "Oh man, he might be back here before week 6." And then, bam, he just falls off the face of the earth. What happened? Who you mad at? Like I don't understand the basis for the behavior, and I would hate for my or everybody's worst suspicions to be true that he's going through something. He's going through something
It's
mentally, and
definitely
I'm
something that should be studied. And from my point of view, it's a classic case of self-sabotage. And we'll get into it with DK Metcalf later. But it's a classic example of self-sabotage. And a lot of it comes from our environments. So my advice for Brandon Aiyuk would be call the fucking 49ers right now. Call them. Drop the ego, drop the pride. You go into that facility, you apologize to the front office, you apologize to the coaching staff, but most importantly, you get up in front of your teammates and you fucking apologize and you cry. And you put it on your mental health. Because obviously that's what the issue is. And that's what you do. And you tell them, hey, I'm going to shut the fuck up for the next 4 weeks. I hope that the NFL can reinstate me off the did not report list or didn't show list. I'm going to shut the fuck up. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to get my cardiovascular endurance. I'm going to show you that I am prepared to play and help you win a Super Bowl physically. And then I get out there, I help you win a Super Bowl, and I think all can be forgiven. That's my advice for Brandon Aiyuk. And when we talk about this self-sabotage, it's a thing that we've all been there. Money is going to make you a bigger of what you were before you had the money.
Mm.
So if you're immature before you have the money, when you get that bag, guess what the fuck you're going to be? Ultra immature. If you're emotional before you get the bag, guess what you're going to be when you get the bag? Ultra emotional. You understand? So this is a classic example of self-sabotage. And I wrote a couple notes down. And it's really that slow, quiet war that we wage on our own potential. No one is born self-sabotaging. It's a learned behavior. A protective method built from childhood, often forged in adverse environments. It's like you want success, but a deeper part of you is deeply committed to ensuring that you don't get it or you don't keep it. And that's the genius of self-sabotage. It operates from a belief that is protecting you.
Mm.
And I'm a big rap fan, and we said we're going to put rap lyrics in here. And I went back and I decoded some things from Jay-Z, a pioneer, a guy that I've always looked up to, and not only listen to the music, but I decode the lyrics to figure out, like, how the fuck did he do that from Marcy Projects to becoming a billionaire, right? I'm like, I got to figure that shit out. Like, how did you do it? And in the 444 album, he has a lyric say, die, Jay-Z. This ain't back in the days. You don't need an alibi, Jay-Z. Cry, Jay-Z. We know the pain is real, but you can't heal what you never reveal. And that's really what he's revealing with these videos, with the lyrics that he's posting, with the immaturity that he's displaying publicly. That's what he's revealing. He's in pain. The guy is in pain. You might act macho and act like you don't care about losing 120 million, but he does.
Mm-hmm.
And it hurts to sit at home, watch your quarterback, and you're supposed to be his number one wide receiver, run around and throw 5 touchdowns in pursuit of a Lombardi. It fucking hurts. So this is a point where it's about killing off the ego so that we can have this conversation from a place of vulnerability and honesty. And we have to know the why to our reactions, the why to why we feel a certain way about a certain things, and what's really happening to us. So once we can answer that question of why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I making the decisions I'm making? Then we can go ahead and heal it. So hopefully Brandon Aiyuk hears this. He can take this for what it's worth. But I would say, bruh, call the 49ers.
Yeah, Dante, we're talking about self-sabotaging. I just remember, I remember what life was like after I retired. And what I realized was like, man, that was a lot of stuff that when I was playing ball, I used ball to mask that when I no longer had ball, I was like, man, I can no longer use those same things that I once used when I was growing up. Like I could point the finger at this, point the finger at this. I literally had to go in, heal myself from those moments, and say to myself, okay, now who am I? Now what can I be? And it was always the same person that I was then. It was just, as Dante was saying, the environment. No, I don't want to just say the environment. It was almost like you had to go through some things or whatnot to be able to wash yourself clean in a little while. And so that's why I just, hope with, Ayuk that he can just take that moment now to take a deep breath and get on some of those things that are underlining, because we all have them in some form or fashion, because it had to be something that you attach yourself to be able to say, like, this is why I'm going to, like, go through hell and high waters and sacrifice and suffer and go through the pain that I'm gonna go through so I can achieve. Is also can be the same thing that can be detrimental. So
Leading into our next topic around the league, DK Metcalf. You work so hard all your life, all your career, you leave Seattle, you go get the bag, and then while you're supposed to be on the bench, you're over taking a swipe at a fan that cost you 2 game suspension, about 550,000, but also cost you 45 million guaranteed in your contract for next year. Now you're in a totally different circumstance than you were when that game started. And we all know it's inevitable that you get injured. It's just one play. God willing, it doesn't happen. But now you have to go out and earn it all over again when you were set. And that's called self sabotage. There's no reason why he was supposed to be over there, even close to that fan. If you can't handle somebody saying foul things to you, how many years have we been dealing with that? I've dealt with that in high school, college, fans talking shit, NFL. You mean to tell me this is the reason why you were in that vicinity and actually had that anger built up and pent up and took a swipe at this guy? No. It's a classic case of self sabotage, and there has to be other things that are affecting these guys. Like we know, Pat, there are things that affect you that are outside the game of football.
mm-hmm.
So another classic case of self sabotage, and I want to go around the league now. We got a little heavy with all of that. The Lions, they lose to the Steelers. And I remember it was a classic quote from Dan Campbell when they lost to the 49ers after making all those weird decisions.
Yep.
He said, "We might never get this opportunity again." He forecasted that shit.
Yep.
I think it's over for the Lions, not just this season. I think their Super Bowl window is completely closed.
Yep.
What do you guys think?
No, you're 100% correct. Watching that game against the Steelers and seeing the Lions' playoff hopes die on that OPI from St. Brown, that was the first thing I thought of, because we were at that game, the NFC Championship game between the Niners and the Lions. And what were the Niners up? The Lions up 24-7 at
Yep.
the half. Great Niner comeback. They go to the Super Bowl. And when Dan Campbell said that, that wasn't a coach. That was a former player who understands how hard it is to get to those points. Like, you guys understand how hard it is to get to the Super Bowl. And when you don't win it, that crushing realization of that might be my only chance. That might have been our only chance. That was Dan Campbell, the former player, understanding, no, man, we had it. Some decisions I made, credit to the Niners, some decisions I made had a hand in it, and that might be our last chance. He 100% saw that coming, because you guys as players know how tenuous that grip is on glory, on immortality in terms of being a Super Bowl champion.
And then also after losing Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, those are two top tier coordinators that were became head coaches.
Yeah.
How often does that happen? So then when you replace both leaders on both sides of the ball, you're like, oh shit, we're probably not going to be as capable as we were formerly because of those guys and their expertise and their ability to get the most out of the players. So when you hire a Kevin Shepard, former player, I don't think he motivated the guys like Aaron Glenn did.
Mhm.
And then the reason that Dan Campbell took over the offensive play calling duties was because he didn't fully believe in his offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So that showed you early. It's like, oh shit, we have problems in house. So I think that it's over for the Lions. I think they go back to the dumps from here on out.
No, Cowboy Justin Smith, a teammate of ours, Dante, at the 49ers, he said this. I remember. So we came in our first. Well, he came in my second year, but we had a few years in there where we didn't win. We wasn't winning. We had just 8-7. 9-7. And then when we got in 2011, Dante, you was there then. That was our first winning season. I remember, man, how geeked we were, how excited we were, how great it felt.
It's
And I
tired of
was,
getting that ass whooped, huh, Pat?
and all of a sudden, we come back in 2012. We came in 2012, and that was the year we went to the Super Bowl. But before we went to the Super Bowl, Cowboy was, he was a vet. When you saw all these young guys having fun, having a good time, he always said this. He always would get up and say this in front of us. He would say, "All right." He said, "Man, we better fucking enjoy this moment while we have it. We better take advantage of it because when it's over, it's over." Being young, still being kind of in that, you still got a little bit of football in you. Like, oh man, we're gonna be able to, come back and do this again. This is gonna be a every time thing. But I remember after that 2012 year, it was really after 2013. I said when Bo got hurt in that 2013 NFC
And then
Championship.
I end up leaving.
Yeah, and then I said, man, I was like, man, we may not. This is gonna be hard. I know what I felt like. I
We're
know we
going
had
back
let
to the
some of the other
toilet
guys
bowl.
go. Man, after that, Dante done was left. I said, oh
Damn, we
shit.
about to be shitty. I got to get out of here. You're
So
like, I can't be attached to
you're
this
right,
shit.
man. As a player, you know that window. You know that feeling.
You're like,
So
oh no.
Hey,
You start
hey,
hiring all these
it's
weird ass coaches and shit. It's like,
it's like that
oh
meme that
no.
goes around at the end of the Fresh Prince when he's standing in the mansion and there's no furniture and he's just looking around. That was
yeah,
you, Pat.
Pat said he had to get the fuck up out of there, right?
it's like
And
everything.
attach his
Everything
name
just
to that
everything.
performance.
The stars aligned, man. The stars
Man, if
aligned.
you would have stayed, you probably wouldn't have made the Hall of Fame. They were
Man.
like ultra shitty until Kyle showed up. Let's keep it on the in the AFC. Well, around the league anyway. What's the most disappointing team this year? Who's been the most disappointing?
Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna say the Ravens, and the reason why I'm gonna say the Ravens because I don't know what Big Fella did for them not to play him the whole second, like the 20 minutes, 12 minutes and 50 like
Who was that?
13.
Henry?
Yeah, Derrick Henry, he didn't play. Then on top of that, the quarterback keeps getting hurt, and that's to me that's a sign of like this is like year
He's
7.
almost 30 years old, Pat.
Yeah, hey Dante,
He
that's
about that
that's that
29,
window
30,
where
but
I'm
he's been
like, man,
taking a lot of hits.
these guys think you're supposed to play. They think you're supposed to have to play for 15 years and all this stuff. And I knew it. I said, man, you better make
He's an
every year
outlier.
count because there ain't no guarantees your body gonna be able to hold up, and especially playing the way that
He
Lamar plays
plays.
or whatnot.
He's
And
like a
so
running back that can
yeah,
throw.
and that's about the time that running backs start having that window of, I don't want to say declination, but it start,
And the old adage always remains true. The body only has so many hits in it.
Mhm.
You understand? He got hit in the back the other day with a knee. Man, I bet you it felt like his kidney was bleeding.
Hey, I saw that happen to Purdy, and I saw that happen to Purdy in game. My heart stopped. I was like,
Yeah, it
I
looked like he
was
was
looking
on
at
his
him.
way to getting a concussion
Hey,
too.
I was looking at him.
Yeah.
I said, oh shucks, man. I said, man, he got that knee to the rib. And a lot of people don't see that stuff, but I pay attention to all them little small things. And I was like, oh shit. I hope he didn't get his ribs and nothing like messed up, but he was okay. But Rob, what about you guys?
Well,
What you say?
I'm right there with you on the Baltimore Ravens, the most disappointing team, and I want to go back to that play where Lamar Jackson got hurt because I peeped it immediately. He was running with the ball, and now he's coming off a hamstring injury, and you guys understand hamstring injuries. You're really afraid of mashing the gas because you don't want to tweak it again. You don't want to have a serious pull. Definitely don't want to have a tear because that's 6 weeks. There's not 6 weeks left in the season. 6 weeks at a minimum. So this is what you guys talk about. This is what football people talk about all the time: is that you have to be able to play the way you play as close to 100% as you can, because if you try to throttle back, you're going to get hurt because everybody else is playing at 100% or playing at 100 miles an hour. He's running with the ball, Lamar Jackson. He doesn't accelerate like he would normally if he were completely healthy, so he throttles down. That's when the guy comes in from the side and tackles him. It wasn't anything dirty, gets the knee to a fairly unprotected part of his body and gets him in the ribs. If Lamar Jackson is healthy, he exploits that hole. There's no way he slows down, he throttles down to allow a guy coming in full speed to hit him and subsequently injure him. Like that's a Lamar
Absolutely. There's two
Jackson.
ways that people get injured out there, and that's decompensation and that's overcompensation.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not trying to run your fastest, and for example, to make a tackle, and you think you're just gonna ease your way in there, you gonna get ran the fuck over and hurt your goddamn neck. Do you understand? If you a wide receiver and you're not running through the football and running through, and you try to like gator arm it, somebody gonna hit you and knock you the fuck out. So you might as well go through it full speed because the body contracts and gets ready for that impact. When you try to like lull into some shit, you gonna get fucked up out there. So
Yep.
I 100% agree with you on that, Rod. We got one more segment and then we're gonna get out of here. And this segment is called Buy and Sell. And we're talking about Super Bowl contenders. So we're gonna start with the AFC. Denver, I'm buying them.
Yeah, man, I'm buying. That defense is outstanding. Sean Payton is a great coach. The Bo Nix experience is alive and well. You don't know if you're getting Auburn Bo Nix or if you're getting Oregon Bo Nix, but whatever Bo Nix you're getting has been working well enough for the Broncos. They could get home field advantage throughout the playoffs, so we know how hard it is to play in Denver. I'm buying.
Yeah, if I'm market watching for the playoffs, I'm buying. I'm getting some of that stock for
New
sure.
England.
Yeah, I'm buying. Drake May, it's not an accident. Young fella can read defenses. Young fella can play. Like Vrabel, former player, so he's got those guys going. He's a good coach. It's a good defense. I think they're better in the AFC, Denver, the Texans, but that's a good outfit. I'm buying, yeah, for sure.
I'm buying New England. I like the Mike Vrabel identity wearing off on that defense and that team in totality. The offensive side of the ball, I'm a Drake May fan. I'm very impressed. I've watched him closely for the last few weeks. He's like legit. And then they have Stephon Diggs in the receiving core. And, Cardi B is keeping Stephon Diggs very loose. So I'm buying him.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy them as
Keeping them
well.
legs loose, right?
I'm gonna buy as well. I'm gonna buy as well, Dante. Just on the basis of what you said, I like the fit that Vrabel has there, and also like what they're doing on the offensive side. I love the fact that you have a defensive head coach, but an offensive, offensive guy at the quarterback position. That I feel like it kind of gives that little, It's a nice fit. It's
Yeah.
a
Jacksonville.
So here's why I'm not going to buy.
You want to give a quick description on these so we don't go too long?
Yeah. I'm not going to buy because of Trevor Lawrence.
What do you mean? Trevor Lawrence has been playing phenomenally.
I know. I don't trust him in the big game.
Oh my God, I like Sunshine. I'm buying him. Sunshine off.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I didn't think you were talking about the one off of Harlem Nights. So yeah.
No, I'm talking about the one off of what's the football movie?
Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans. That's Sunshine.
That's what reminded me of first. I'm not buying. I think they have to prove to me. They have to get in.
They beat Denver last week.
I was shocked. I mean, they said everybody get lucky every now and then.
Chargers.
No. Offensive line, too many injuries. Not buying it.
I'm not buying the Chargers either. I was on their bandwagon for a while, but I don't like their philosophy on defense. I do think their Herbert is pretty scary if he can catch fire and look like he did earlier in the season.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm changing that. I'm buying. Fuck that. I think the Chargers with Herbert and Harbaugh's philosophy and the way that he tricks the guys psychologically into buying in, I think they can cause some havoc.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna buy as well. I think that's gonna be the matchup. I don't know if would they meet in the championship, AFC Championship, or do they have to play each other?
It don't even matter. Just win, baby.
With Kansas City being out and everything, I feel like this is going to be between them and Denver.
Yeah, Michael Jordan ain't in this year.
All the other Bills.
Somebody gonna sneak one off because Michael Jordan ain't in. You know that's Patrick Mahomes. All right, let's go Buffalo.
No. I love Cook. Obviously, Josh Allen is incredible. Not enough defensively, and I just don't think there's enough offensively around Cook and Allen.
I'm selling Buffalo as well. Their run defense is horrendous. They can't stop a cold. And then I think that the way that Josh Allen performs in the regular season is vastly different from the way he performs in the postseason. He's when he gets like really tight-assed it and he start to force the ball into coverage and they start to turn the football over. So I'm selling Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm a sell as well, just based on what Rod is saying as well. I don't know if they got enough pieces, and it could force him to have to, turn into Superman and do it all himself. And if he does that, then perhaps. But yeah, I'm not really.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Let's
go Houston. Right.
Best defense in the business. I can't buy them because offensively, the Raiders gave them trouble. They sometimes when you blitz them, they just have no answers for it. C.J. Stroud has been better, but he can be inconsistent. I just don't think they have enough offensively. But that defense is hellified.
Yeah, I'm a sell. They remind me too much of Jacksonville. I do think they have the edge over Jacksonville, but I still, until they get in and show me something, then it's hard for me to buy that stock right now.
Houston, I'm selling. Too many strip clubs, too many strippers. They can't do it. NFC, Seattle.
I'm
buying.
Selling because of Sam Darnold. Past few weeks, up until the second half of the game last Thursday against the Rams, Sam Darnold has been. So Seattle's defense, I think it's the best in the NFC West. Your boy Jackson Smith and Jigba, they got a two-headed monster at running back. To me, quarterback play is what's going to keep them out of it. So I'm selling.
Yeah, I'm a sell as well. I don't. Their defense is dominant, like you say. Well, they have that dominacy to them, but on the offensive side, they have a little bit of run game, but I don't see much more than that. That makes them that much more special, like you say, at the quarterback
I'm
position.
gonna change my opinion too. Yeah, I agree with you guys. Sam Darnold is ass. He is ass. When you drop out, guys, and they did a phenomenal job, by the way. That interception that number 30 had that ran back for a touchdown. They showed press man across the board, cover two. The backside safety showed like he was coming down the tight end. The other safety showed a tilt towards the middle of the field. So he like, oh, press man, double slant. That motherfucker snapped the ball. That slot backed up. Let that first slant go, jump right in the passing lane. That's how Jair Brown was supposed to look, by the way. He's supposed to be right in that passing lane of Luter and pass that front side one backside to Malik Mustafa. So I thought that was phenomenal. Yeah, he's ass. I'm selling Seattle. Chicago.
I'm gonna sell because of the unknown with Caleb Williams getting into the playoffs, even though I just praised him a little while ago, and I think the Bears defense is vulnerable. I'm gonna sell.
Yeah, I'm kind of stuck right now. I'm kind of waiting to see how this game go against the 49ers Sunday night. So I'm
selling.
I'm on the front.
I'm selling. That offense looks terrible a lot of times. Like even the other night versus Green Bay, it didn't look good until the end. So I'm selling. Let's go with Philly.
I'm buying, man. I'm buying. I know they are the most dysfunctional good team in the NFL. That defense is really, really good. Obviously, y'all know how good Vic Fangio is. All they need to do is just get a little bit from Jalen Hurts, and that's entirely possible. I am intrigued, curious, concerned, as much as I care about the Philly, and I don't, about Saquon Barkley just in a traditional run game. But, man, they're the champs until proven otherwise, so I'm buying.
Yeah,
I'm buying as well.
Yeah.
And I'm buying strictly because are the champion until somebody beats the champion. Until you
Mhm.
dethrone the champion, they're still the champion. So I'm buying.
Yeah, I'm buying. Concur with what you just said, Dante.
So Carolina, pass.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
So
whatever.
yeah,
They're in the
Moving.
playoffs, and I was looking it up, looking at some data. They're fucking minus 90 in the point differential. This is
Yeah,
a joke.
yeah.
Rams.
I'm buying. I'm buying.
I'm
The
gonna
only
buy.
thing that stops them is special teams.
Well, their run defense didn't look too hot the other night. They gave up some big plays in the passing game as well when it all counted, but I'm going to buy the Rams.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy as well. The defense is solid, and at the quarterback position, they got a future Hall of Famer, and they run the ball pretty decent. So yeah, I'm gonna buy.
49ers.
Mm. See, I'm gonna be a hypocrite because what I criticize the Bears for, I'm just going to absolutely ignore when it comes to the Niners. In terms of the
That's
Bears
called
defense not being good.
hypocritical or bias.
Yeah, either way.
Yeah, I'm
No,
gonna
no,
be
no.
biased.
Here's what I'm gonna buy the Niners because their offense is the best in the game. As good as the Rams' offense is, the Niners is better. As good as what other offense in the NFC? Really, that's it. The Niners have the best offense in the NFC, possibly the best offense in football. I think that offense is good enough with the skill position players, and Kyle Shanahan, good enough to overcome the deficiencies on the defense. I don't think Chicago
49ers.
has that type of offense to overcome the deficiencies on their defense.
Yes, the 49ers, I am absolutely buying as Super Bowl contenders and strictly because of Brock Purdy and his ability to get outside the pocket and not only make it happen, put precision passing on the board, not turn the football over, but also that he's having fun. This is Brock Purdy's year. And like I compare uh, uh, Mahomes to Michael Jordan, well, you better go and steal you one, big Brock Purdy. I can steal you one while Michael Jordan is down and get on the board. And I think that's what he's going to do this year. So the 49ers, definitely I'm buying them.
Yeah, man, I have no choice but to buy based on faith alone, and then just to they have
They
that
drafted you.
that yeah
You
they have
played
that
your
better
whole career
they got the better
there.
leadership too,
You
and they
made
got
the
guys
Hall
who've
of
been there.
Fame there. You
No,
why
they
you
got
should
they got guys
restore all this
they
shit,
got
man.
guys who they got guys who've been
You
there though.
I'm working at the organization.
No.
Like
Hey,
all
they got
like,
guys. They got guys who've been there, so you can't take that away from say having the making a run or whatnot. 'Cause I think that does make a difference. It is a little tough, based on seeing the defensive side of the ball, but I think it's possible. It just goes back to they say offense wins championships. I'm sorry, offense wins games and defense wins championships, and so that's where I'm a little, I don't know how much I would buy, but I'm gonna buy enough to make sure that they win. Like I'm gonna walk away good. So.
shit, you better. You better, goddammit. You better buy that shit. You better.
Now I'm
Green
going
Bay.
all in. Hey, all in. You heard? I'm all in.
Green
Hey,
Bay.
to the court.
Those Green Bay Packers is the last team, and we'll close it out and get out of here and go and enjoy our Christmas.
I'm selling. I'm selling. Too many injuries, and Jordan Love still a bit unproven. So I'm gonna go ahead and sell on that.
Yeah, I was hyped up on them at the beginning of the season, especially after they had the Michael Parsons trade. I was like, man, it might make a little bit of a big difference, but I haven't seen enough.
They're a
Yeah,
scary team if you have to play them, though.
yeah,
Like if the
Yeah,
49ers had to
sure.
play them with
Sure.
Christian
yeah.
Watkins and
I would.
Romeo Dobbs
I'll be a
and
little all right now.
that
Let's go.
run game that they have, if they fucking put it together with Jordan Love, they're a fucking scary team to see in the second round of the playoffs. I'm gonna tell you that right now. There's no guarantee that you're gonna be able to cover them boys if you can't get a pass rush. You see, so
Yeah.
I'm really concerned. I'm buying the Green Bay Packers. I'm buying them because of those offensive weapons, Jordan Love, and the ability to have a hard nosed running game.
Ooh.
And I think that's going to do it for episode 17 of the Grit Code podcast. And remember, grit isn't proven when everything is easy. It's proving when the winning still costs you something. And that's all from this week's episode, Christmas episode of the Grit Code Podcast. And we'd like to wish all of our listeners a Merry Christmas. Make sure to subscribe and like on Apple, Spotify, X, Instagram, and YouTube. Till next week.